Welcome everybody. This is webinar session 3, our third attempt at sharing Halo information with anybody who is curious about more of the technology and all of that fun stuff. And today is really kind of breaking into the premium playlist. So in our previous webinar session, we covered the 10 core Halo programs, and now we're going into premium. We got a lot of requests to start covering some of the programs in there, and we're going to start in that Recovery Plus category. So let's go ahead and get going. Just a reminder for anybody who wasn't here for the Core 10 webinar session, what makes up a Halo program are our special sequences and the layering technique that we use. So traditional PEMF is going to be delivering single frequencies one after another. Halo is delivering these different sequences of layered groups of frequencies throughout each program. So each program has different sequences, different frequencies, different layers, and that's what makes them very special and very unique. And all of them are great in their own way. So this is a Halo program from a snapshot view right here. And again, this is another reminder, but most people will play between 2 to 4 programs when they play Halo, when they use Halo on any given day. So you might only use one per day. You might sometimes require over 5, which is probably a little bit rare. But on average, most people play between 2 to 4 programs on the days that they're using Halo. And here we have our premium playlist. So this is where things get fun with Halo. This is something we definitely do different from other PEMF devices. We have an entire suite of programs that you can access. It's a growing library. We're constantly adding new programs throughout the year, and it's just something that we thought up a few years ago, and seeing how many programs that now live in this playlist today is very exciting. So a lot of people ask, the difference between premium programs and the Core 10. They're all Halo programs. They all have that layering technique that we just mentioned. The difference between premium and the Core 10 is really just the specific programs. So these are just different programs. We have a lot of diversity among all of these. Some are for recovery, some are for performance, some are for your general wellness goals. And we just plan to continue adding to it as we go along. And this is where we really started making some changes, is adding things like categories to this premium playlist. So this is just a way for us to start to organize our different programs so you can find them easier, especially as we continue to grow the library now. Again, with over 40 programs, instead of scrolling through an entire list of programs that you can use, we just decided that we would start to categorize these for you guys so that you can really just find exactly what you need when you need it. So today is all about Recovery Plus, and the Recovery Plus really just means programs for recovery that fall in the premium playlist. And those programs are brain recovery, circulation, inflammation, post-game, and post-party. And if you haven't tried any of these yet, maybe by the end of this webinar session, you'll be curious to give some of them a go. And our top 3 right here, no surprise, inflammation 1 is number 1 on the list. This has been true since we released Inflammation 1. A lot of people are looking for inflammatory support, so this definitely makes sense when we see this sort of statistic come up, and brain recovery at number 2, and then at number 3, circulation. So this is a cool little statistic of over 40 programs in the library in this Recovery Plus category. The top 3 programs live here. So just a cool little data point for you guys. And we're going to kick things off with Inflammation 1, and I'm going to pass it off to Mara. I know Mara's had some great experiences with Inflammation 1, and she's going to share a little bit about this fun program right here. So Mara, take it away.
Yeah, so inflammation is one of our as you can see, our top played programs. It was also one of our most requested programs in what we designed for you guys. So we got to work and we're delivering it. And it is number one. And the reason is because it's targeting inflammation um, at uh, really a surface level, an external level, and assisting the body's response to overtraining, physical impact resulting in soreness, stiffness, bruising, or swelling. So this program is fantastic if you were out on the pickleball court and fell over, bonged your knee, and you need a little support at the end of the day with the inflammatory response that happened in that area. So if you've got bruise or swelling, this is a great program for that. I've also heard people uh, play inflammation to support sunburns as well. So we've had some customers report that it is quite supportive with that. So an external inflammation program is what this is. My husband was running with a 20-pound backpack on and called me one day and told me that he was half a mile into the park and potentially tore his calf muscle. And I had to go get him. And he hadn't really used Halo as much. This was really when we were first dating. And this was the program that really changed his mind about Halo and frequency therapy. Within 2 weeks, he was walking around again and felt pretty great. And he said this is one of his favorite programs. So today he still uses it religiously and um, really just plays it to support everything.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's awesome those stories too, because we hear those all the time from our customers. Just the number of stories we've heard from this particular program and, intervening after something might happen that leaves you feeling sore or stiff or anything like that. This program is, we've heard some incredible stories about it. So definitely one to add to the routine if you haven't yet, although I'm sure most Halo users at this point, I think, have probably added it to the routine.
especially if you're in recovery, or if
Yeah.
you're, sorry, especially if you're playing recovery programs inside Premium.
Yep,
Give it a
exactly.
try. It's great.
All right. And that's inflammation one. And moving on to brain recovery. This is one of my personal favorites I've mentioned before. It is also currently our longest program in the entire Halo library. So maybe that's one of the reasons I like it because I'll use it before bed. I just put the coil on my chest and I am relaxing. It is my most peaceful state is when I'm running this program. So this one is great, obviously, for any sort of mental recovery. If you are someone who is a mental high performer, if you have a job that just requires even just you sitting behind a computer all day and you feel completely fried at the end of the day, this one is extremely, extremely powerful for that. It really does make you feel lighter. It has a meditative effect to it. And I've also noticed when wearing my Aura Ring, when I use this particular program, my REM sleep improves. So something for you to pay attention to if you do try this program in the evening before bed to look at some of those biomarkers and just see if it's, moving the needle on anything. Because
Mhm.
for me, it definitely has.
Another tip, if you are using this program to support your sleep, you try running Calm and then Brain Recovery and let us know how you think about that.
Yes, definitely. And also one quick note with this one is it's a recovery program. So if you think about our program Recover, what that's used for, what inflammation is used for, brain recovery can be used for the same thing. So any sort of impact to that area, if you play contact sports, anything like that, that might require you to have some extra recovery in that area, this program is used for that as well. So it's not just, mentally demanding tasks and your brain is tired. It's also, upon impact, this program is definitely something that could be
Yeah.
beneficial.
So think of Recover as physical and Brain Recovery as much more mental.
Yep. All right. Here we have circulation, a nice image too to make you think about circulation, water flowing. That is exactly what this program is all about. So if you've been sitting down for long periods of a time, a plane flight, a long car ride, at the desk all day, and you just feel like you've been stiff and you just need more movement, That's what circulation is for, to get things moving, make sure that the blood flow is optimized and all of that, just to make sure that, all of the stagnation that was there starts to get some movement behind it.
And this program is also great for the elderly. We've had a lot of success with that. Anybody that is, whether you're a young athlete or an aging gracefully athlete, or you're very active, this is a great program, um, whether you're active or sedentary, to get your blood moving. So we've had a lot of success with using this program with athletes in just a general recovery process or from injury recovery, as well as using it with the elderly. It can be very supportive for all ages.
Definitely. Definitely one of support is a great term for this one. It's a support tool. You could use this daily, definitely something that you can pair alongside a lot of our other programs as well. So I think support is a good way to describe this one. All right. Post game. Had to add a little fun image here for post game. This is, you're exhausted. Maybe you don't have a ton of time to fit this one in or fit in like a recover session that's 22 minutes or an inflammation session that's about 21 minutes, but you still need a heavy hitting recovery program. That is what this program here is for. So, don't have a lot of time, need recovery, run post game.
And post game is basically, in essence, a condensed version best of all of our recovery programs and frequencies jam packed into one 7 minute or 8 minute session. So it's the best of Halo and all that we have from a recovery standpoint packed into one short program so that you can get on with your day.
Yep, pack a punch.
Yeah.
All right. And the last Recovery Plus program is maybe not what you would initially think about recovery, not in, a wellness sense a lot of the times, but still something that people definitely need to recover from, and that is any sort of party, event, concert, anything that is very overstimulating, that you might have a few beverages at, that maybe you're not eating the best at, that you're out late, there's bright lights, all those things that you can think of that you can associate with partying post party is there to help you recover from those things. So this one is great, in the evening if you get back late, if your nervous system is all wound up and maybe you just need to help kickstart the detox, the recovery from the night, you can run this one. It's a quick 7 minute session. And I know Mara always suggests you pair this with a replenish, even a recharge. That's going to help you, start feeling like yourself again.
Mhm.
So, again, not what you would typically
Yeah.
think of with
Mhm.
recovery, but an important
And
one.
it's more of a replenishing program rather than a cleansing program. So we do have a program called Cleanse that is much more about flushing toxins and detoxification, supporting cellular detoxification and whole body detoxification. That's Cleanse. Post party is really another condensed version of all the best things that we have to support your body after a long night or a night of disrupted sleep or a lot of, you know, partying and all that stuff. So this is really about restoration and helping you to get back on your feet, especially if you've got a big day ahead of you or you've got to go to work that day. This is about cell nourishment.
Yep, for sure. And an important note on this one, which we did add to the pro tip, is hydration. And this is an important note across the board with all PEMF, no matter if you're running post party or if you're running power or recover, hydration is key for PEMF. So, find your electrolytes, find your water, and make sure that you're nice and hydrated before, during, and after PEMF. But especially when you're using any sort of detoxing program, cleansing program, or nourishing and hydrating program, hydration is important. So,
Yeah.
important little note there. All right. Quick one today, going through those Recovery Plus category programs right there. We do now have time for some Q&A. and we have this QR code here. This will take you to a series of how-to videos with Halo. So if you're new to Halo and you're just getting started and you want to just learn how to get up and running with your Halo, or you don't have one yet and you need to understand more about the unit itself, scan this QR code, go watch those getting started videos, and hopefully you'll learn a thing or two about the technology there. And in the meantime, we will.
And if you ever have any questions at all, again, just a friendly reminder, go to halo.com, click the big blue button in the top right corner that says schedule a call. You can schedule a call with us at a time that's convenient for you, and we'll be happy to answer any of your questions. You can also email us at support@halo.com.
Yep. All right. First question for this Q&A section is, should the coil be placed directly on the area of inflammation, or is it effective to place it on your core instead?
Yeah, I'll answer that one, Jess.
I was looking at you for it because I know this is
Yep,
right up your alley.
that's all right.
Yeah.
The answer is yes. You know, the bunged knee example that I gave earlier, if you've tweaked your knee or your ankle or anything like that, absolutely find a comfortable position with the coil, whether your ankle's resting on top of it or next to it. We suggest putting the coil under your knees. You can place it on top of your hip or on the side of your hip. Just find a comfortable system with, putting the coil on that spot. And the reason we say to do that is because we want to target that area of concern as much as possible. And the center part of your coil is the strongest and most intense part of the electromagnetic field. So that's where our signal is the strongest and the loudest for your cells. So your cells are really going to respond well if that center part of that coil's on top of the area that you want to work on. Now, side note, do be careful um, to, or I should say, be mindful of your comfort. Don't place the coil on top of open wounds or anything like that. If you're uncomfortable, just move the coil. Simple as that. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good note, especially our coil's 5.5 pounds. So a lot of times people will
It's
ask,
got some weight
like,
to it,
if
right?
they have a,
Mhm.
I don't know, more specifically, like if a kneecap is hurting and you want to put the coil closest to that, it's probably never going to be comfortable to put the coil right on top of your knee. So resting it next to it or underneath it is just as good, but definitely the comfort is important to note.
Yeah.
And our next question here is, are there premium programs that are best to be avoided in the evening? And that's a great question. And I would say in the Recovery Plus category, no, because a lot of those programs are going to be those nourishing programs. Maybe sometimes circulation could be, and Mara, correct me if I'm wrong, but I would say circulation sometimes is better used earlier in the day of those programs, but everything else you can definitely use before bed. Again, brain recovery, inflammation, post party, post game, those are all have those nourishing codes in them. So definitely things you can play before bed.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Circulation might be the only one. If we're moving blood and nutrients around, your cells are then uptaking those nutrients. It's possible you could have a little energy surge, but it's very rare. I would say test running these programs earlier in the day and see how your body responds to them. And if you're fine and it doesn't provide any energy, then you should be more than okay to run them at night.
Yeah. And again, those are the Recovery Plus programs, and there's other programs in the premium playlist, probably in the Performance Plus and areas like that, that you might just want to read the description of and make sure that it sounds like something that isn't going to jack you up in any sort of way. But usually the description can give you a little bit of insight into the program itself and whether that's going to be nourishing or maybe a little bit more uplifting. And I personally avoid anything that would be potentially uplifting before bed. Just
Yeah.
I don't want to risk it. I like to be nice and relaxed. So
Mhm. And I'll add this. If in doubt, play calm before any one of our recovery programs. Calm is think of Calm as the recovery primer. It really works on the nervous system to reset your nervous system from whatever state you're in. Typically, we're in a sympathetic state, which is a fight or flight state to some degree. And Calm resets the nervous system, puts you back into a parasympathetic state. So, whatever program you run after that, the benefits are potentially accelerated or maximized or optimized. So Calm is a primer, and then your recovery program that you play after that is an optimized program. And that can also ensure that whatever the second program is doing, uh, it's not going to um, jack you up or wake you up or have you have a surge of energy. It's going to help calm by running Calm first. It's going to keep you in that calm state.
Yeah. All right. How many sessions can you run at a time and per day? So at a time, we have a very loose parameter on this in the app, and you'll see that in the MyStacks playlist. So in the MyStacks playlist, we allow you to stack up to 3 programs to automatically play back to back. So that's our loose guideline. Our loose parameter is up to 3 in one single session. And people don't need to listen to that. You can absolutely run whatever programs you want to play, but there is a little bit of that plateauing effect with PEMF therapy. You know, your cells are receiving a lot of information, and when they're receiving all of that information, they do need time to assimilate that information as well. So if you're going to run calm, recover, relieve, harmonize, defense. If you're going to go through all 5 of those back to back, that's a lot of frequencies, a lot of signals that your cells are trying to interpret and put to work in your body, because those frequencies are going to work long after the program is over. So that's kind of why we set that loose parameter. You know, you want to give your body time, your cells time to really listen to the information that it's been given. So loose parameter, no more than 3 in a single sitting. In a day, that's a little bit more up to you. Again, the average user is around that 2 to 4 programs per day. So anything over that is, I would say it's considered a lot of programs to be running in a day, but sometimes you have a more demanding day than other times. Maybe you need a little bit of extra support, and that's totally okay if you go over that 4 mark. But probably not a consistent thing to be doing in your routine.
And you just watch your sessions as well. If you have a morning session, there's a couple hours between your morning session and your evening session, or your morning session and an afternoon session. So those couple of hours, or many hours if it's between a morning and an evening session, is where your body is assimilating these frequencies and interpreting them. Um, they're like a code that your body has to sort of uh, rewrite and understand, and then turn that into benefit. So um, if you're doing multiple sessions, just make sure there's a couple hours between sessions so that your body has that time.
Yeah, definitely. All right. This question right here is a quick one. Can the app be used on desktop or is it only smartphone? It cannot be used on desktop. It can be used on any sort of tablet as well, iPad, any sort of Android device, as long as it has a Google Play Store or App Store, and it is technically considered smart. So, yeah, it would be a phone or a tablet that you can run Halo on. Have you seen athletes in certain sports gravitate to particular premium programs? Yes, a lot of those are going to be in that recovery plus, so that we just went over. So the inflammation, the circulation, the brain recovery, the post game, those programs right there are definitely popular in the athlete population just because of course, the name and the benefit of that program. Outside of those programs, we it kind of would depend, and the sport itself also depends. I think most athletes are often looking for the same overall support, which is that recovery support, the inflammation and circulation and things like that. Travel is another one. So travel, that's all about Pre-travel, post-travel, oxygenating the cells, all of those things. So that one's really good. Oxygenation, all of those accelerators that you see. So there's a lot of programs in there that the athletes definitely gravitate to, but I would say the top would be the travel, inflammation, circulation, brain recovery, those types of programs.
And there are a lot of programs in there to support things outside of what athletes are targeting or wanting. For example, like Jessica said, travel to support a rigorous travel schedule for some of these athletes, or even digestion. If there's a huge competition coming up or game, uh, maybe you want to get your body right and you want to be in a space where your digestive system is optimized. There's a lot of supportive programs like that our
Mhm.
athletes also use.
Nutrition is a good call out because I actually will recommend that
Nutrition too.
to a lot of
Yeah.
athletic trainers as well, which is uh,
Hmm.
pairing nutrition, not necessarily using it on its own, but pairing it with other programs like a
Yeah.
Recover because of all of the nutrients that your cells are getting. It's a very good program, a very underrated program, I would say, in the Halo library is nutrition. And
Mm-hmm.
it's not a very felt program, but it is a very strong supportive program.
And try running nutrition, replenish, nutrition, and then replenish. Or you can swap it if you prefer, replenish and then nutrition, but replenish is really like that IV, energetic IV drip for your cells, and the nutrition is taking those nutrients directly to the cells, so and activating things within us. So those are really great combo to play back to back as well.
Yep. We have two more questions that we're going to get to in 2 minutes. So let's see if we can do it. The first one is what about recovery from surgery? What can a person expect? And then frequency of using Halo post-op. So, like, how often can you use it to speed up the recovery process? Um, what would you say about
So
that one?
yeah, I would definitely say if you've had a surgery or an operation, wait a couple days post surgery operation, especially if it was a bigger one, to give your body time to just initiate its own recovery processes. And also, if there are any open wounds or anything, we don't want to cause any additional harm to that area, especially if there are stitches. So use common sense when it comes to things like that. We don't want to place the coil on top of wound or an area that's just been operated on. But give your body about 2 or 3 days, and when you feel ready, and really tune into yourself and say, do you feel ready to start using Halo again? And if you are, then a great place to start is calm and then recover. Play calm and then recover right after it. And if you're recovering from something that was uh, sort of a sports injury or something like that, you can play recover every day, one time a day, to support your recovery process through to the end. And that is actually a protocol, Calm plus Recover or Calm plus Recover and Relief. Those are two different stacks that you can play every day to support your recovery process, post-op, post-surgery, post-injury. And if
Yep.
you have
And
any other questions about it, just connect with us
yeah,
and we
and
can support you specifically. Yeah.
it's important to note that what Mara was just naming as well is that's a contraindication across the board for all PEMF devices. So just, you know, stitches, open wounds, anything like that, all PEMF devices will say the same thing, not to place the coil or use PEMF therapy on those locations. And of course, Halo's not a medical device, so always check with a medical professional if you're going to be using this to help yourself recover post-op from anything. Just important to note that. Final question, great question, is grounding a good program to stack with others? And I can speak from personal experience. I'll say absolutely. I use grounding after almost any recovery session that I'm doing. I'll do like calm recover grounding or calm bees knees grounding or I don't know.
Calm, grounding, travel.
Yeah, brain
That's a
recovery.
great
Oh,
combo too. Yeah.
that's the one is calm travel grounding. That
Or in that order. Yeah.
trio. Oh gosh, Mara and I have
It's a great
spent
one.
Mara and I
Mhm.
have spent many nights in hotels where we'll both have our halos set up and we're both ready to go and we both start the Calm Travel Grounding. That is an absolutely incredible program when you're on the road. It works so well. You sleep
Powerful.
so
Yeah.
great. You wake up feeling very rested, even when you're traveling through different time zones. So, highly recommend that trio, but also absolutely use grounding, with everything. It is such a supportive program. It is really the base foundation of what makes PEMF so awesome is that it is
Mm.
earth frequencies.
Yeah.
So
And
grounding
and
is,
like Calm,
yeah.
sorry, Jess, and like
No,
Calm,
go.
it's
I'm rambling. I love grounding, so I'm rambling. I get excited.
I do too. It's one of my favorites. And like Calm, it's a nervous system, essentially a nervous system reset program. In the same way that you would go outside and place your feet on the ground to receive uh, Earth's ground, frequencies. Um, Grounding was written to simulate that. So use it as you would in any situation where you need to feel grounded, and that's grounding.
Absolutely. All right, we're 2 minutes over, but I think we did a pretty good job keeping somewhat in time there. Sometimes we like to ramble our questions when we get passionate. That was me. But thank you guys for tuning in for webinar session 3. There will definitely be a session 4 and so on. We have a lot of fun doing this and just sharing our own experience with Halo, our customers' experience with Halo, and just different fun facts. We love the tech, we love sharing it. So thank you for joining, and we'll look forward to the next one.